So this morning, the New York Times released information about a White House briefing in which Joseph Maguire told, it's an intelligence agent working for Trump, told Trump that the Russians were interfering in the elections and supporting him. Uh, the New York Times piece said that Trump became enraged, uncontrollably angry, believed that Adam Schiff was the only one exclusively briefed on this Russian interference situation, and he went about firing Maguire. I'm reading that, and it doesn't look good. It looks pretty bad, honestly. And then I read further into it, but not from the New York Times. Actually, believe it or not, from MSNBC. And the writer of this article actually kind of went in a little bit deeper onto what Joseph Maguire had told Trump. And what he told him was there was impressions essentially that were supporting Trump. That they had possible cyber attacks, but not actual cyber attacks. Essentially, memes. I mean, mind you, there's nothing they could be doing right now. They can't be changing vote counts. They can't be breaking into apps because there's nothing going on right now. Um, but essentially, yeah, memes and social media accounts. And I read further into that, and I was like, well, yeah, I get it. I would have fired that guy too. You have to be very careful about what you say. You, for instance, you wouldn't tell your best friend that you think his wife is cheating on him without evidence and proof, would you? No. It's a it's a big deal. This is a much bigger deal. Take this, amplify that by a million. And that's what you have here. And this guy comes in giving Schiff ammo for something that isn't concrete. There's nothing tangible about his quote unquote evidence. And it makes you think, and it makes you take a step back. Well, doesn't, Schiff has said multiple times that he has evidence of Russian collusion. Well, where is it? Where's Mueller's evidence? I want to see the evidence of Russian collusion. Obstruction of justice, sure. I will all day. I'll go on. I'll agree with that. But Russian collusion, I don't see it. Russian interference, I don't really see it. Namely because, yeah, there's probably some. I guarantee you we've tried to interfere with their elections, probably just like last week. I'm sure China has tried to interfere with ours. Mexico has probably tried. I bet Canada has been involved in our shit. As we've gone after all of them as well. Because that's just what we do, I guess. I don't know why governments do that, but apparently that's what they do. They have nothing else better to do because, all their people are super healthy and everybody makes an adequate amount of money and there's no problems in these countries. So they spend all their time trying to fuck with each other's elections. No, I don't know, but that 100% true. That's what happens. And so just to point out, to cherry pick, oh, Russia here is helping you, Trump. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. And I'm glad I took that second article into account when doing my research because not 8 hours later, we come to find out that Russia is also helping Bernie Sanders. Yes, Bernie Sanders is also a Russian asset, apparently, which makes absolutely no sense, by the way. I mean, if there's a less corruptible candidate, if there's a candidate who appeases oligarchs and rich people less than Bernie, I would love to meet that candidate. I mean, there is absolutely no way at this point in Bernie's life could you buy him. So, what would Russia gain from this? And hell, let's just go back to Trump real quick. Trump's been in office for 4 years. What has Russia really gained from Trump? Seriously. I mean, Russia is supplying the Ukraine with weapons. Do I believe the Ukraine corruption? Yeah, I do. I believe Trump was digging dirt up on Biden, 100%. But it doesn't change the fact that Trump was supporting Ukraine against Russia. Or even a bigger deal. What about the German oil deal? Germany had a was trying to get a Russian oil deal, and Trump stepped in and helped make that happen. Russia is not benefiting from Trump being in office, not any more than any other president. So why would Russia go to this length to do that? Does that make sense to you? That Russia would put their ass on the line for Sanders or Trump? Or does it make more sense that the establishment, who has thrown billions of dollars of attack ads at both Bernie Sanders and Trump, have sent their crony mainstream media pundits every day on air to attack both Sanders and Trump, that through debates going after both Sanders and Trump, are they running out of options? And there's only a few more of their tricks up their sleeve. And finally, the establishment has to go back to Russia. What's more believable? Because at this point, I can't honestly believe that our government cares more about Russia and 4 million social media impressions over the the shadow app company, who pretty much gave more delegates to Pete Buttigieg. Remember, that was just a conspiracy. We're not supposed to talk about that. They're a very Pete friendly company, a startup that Pete invested quite a bit in. Well, okay, he paid for their services, sure. Yeah, no, but we that's a conspiracy. They actually have proof. There's ties. With Russia, we don't have shit. And at this point, might I add, one of the things that they say is, well, during special counsel Mueller's investigation, he found that Russia was supporting Bernie Sanders and Trump. Is it the same way that he found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Yeah, he's that guy. He did that. I'm sorry, I don't believe him. I don't believe him until I see something. You can't just tell me that. And so, at the end of the day, I think Trump should have reacted different. I think he should have reacted like Sanders did, where Sanders came out and said, look, I disavow the Russians. Putin can go sit on a fist. I don't need their help. I don't want anyone messing with my election. Go away. Instead, Trump reacting viscerally and firing an intelligence agent and going further and calling it fake news and stomping around, doing the real machismo thing. I think Trump acted wrong because he's giving them ammo. He is definitely giving the mainstream ammo to run with. And there's a lot of people who are just going to read the headline, maybe read a paragraph into the story and not read any further in. Or if they do, not exactly understand what they meant. Because they don't spell it out for you. They like to try to hide the fact that all they really have is the fact that Russia has been sharing memes. Not even creating them anymore. Just sharing them and making them go viral. That's one of the big things that Russia's been doing. Because, that fucks with our election? Yeah, yeah. The establishment thinks you're stupid. They think we are all just morons feeding off their teat. And since 2016, they've gotten a really scary wake up call. And they are using every fucking weapon they have. And they're all missing. They're not working. So here we are. And again, it's an interesting situation. I'm a Bernie supporter. I'm not in favor of most of Trump's actions, but I'm going to support him on this because it's the right thing to do. And it has very little to do with the fact that Sanders was also implicated in this. It's purely us versus the establishment. And Trump is a, yeah, enemy of an enemy kind of thing. Anyway, I'm really curious what you guys think about this. How you feel about maybe do you feel like I got this wrong? Do you think no, Russiagate 2.0 is totally happening? You misread stuff or you didn't dig deep enough. There's more to this that you don't know. Or do you buy my narrative that the establishment is simply running out of ways to hurt us? And both sides of us, the progressives, the Bernie Sanders progressives, and the Trump right wing supporters. Like, are they just they they have nothing more to throw at us, and so they're trying to dig up shit that they thought worked. Because they're also really good at screwing up. But yeah, what side of it do you think is happening? What's your thoughts on this whole thing? I'm really curious to find out. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.